What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to show you a hack that I've found to get your loops to infinitely sustain in the MPC X, possibly the MPC Live. There's no reason why it shouldn't work because they run the same firmware, and possibly MPC 2.3 software. But I haven't tested it in the Live, I don't have one anymore, and I just haven't had time to test it in the software. But again, there's no reason why it shouldn't work. So before I get into this video, I just want to thank all my current subscribers, anyone that's liked and shared my videos, anyone that's been very kind enough to donate to the channel. If you'd like to do that yourselves, there's a PayPal link in the description. And if you want private lessons with myself, please contact me at tubedigga@gmail.com for more information. My email address is down in the description as well. So I'm just going to give you a bit of background on this. If you don't already know, the MPC doesn't have any current way that's built into the system for us to trigger a loop sample and have it infinitely sustain, which would be really handy for anyone that's doing ambient or drone work, or in fact anyone else that just wants to launch a loop and have it continuously play. Now, clip programs won't allow us to do this if we switch tracks. They will if we launch them in a clip program and stay in the clip program, but it's a well-known fact that if we switch tracks, the clips will stop. Well, this glitch or bug or Easter egg or workaround or whatever you want to call it allows you to do both, which is amazing. And I'm going to show you how to do it now. Let's take a look at the program editor, and you can see that the sustain and release values in the amplitude envelope section are capped at 127. That's the maximum value, and your loop will fade away. I'm just going to show you that now. So on my first pad, I've got this Bob James Take Me to the Mardi Gras loop that I've turned into like a drum and bass version. I'm just going to trigger it and you'll hear it fade off gradually. Okay, so that's the expected behaviour, but unfortunately it's not the behaviour that I'd like myself, because I'd love to do an ambient drone live set where I can just trigger drone loops and have them infinitely sustain. So how do we get around this? Well, let's just take a look. So to have loops activated, you have to be in note on mode for your sample playback, which is in the LFO modulation page. If we switch it to one shot, you can just see that that grays out the loop functionality there. So you need that switched on. Let's go back to the samples page. Now I've tried this with different loops. It doesn't just work with the forward loop type. You can do it with the reverse loop and the ping pong loop. So how do we achieve an infinitely sustaining loop sample? It's really simple. There's only a couple of things that you need to know. When you launch the sample, you need to keep your finger pressed on it, and then you need to switch tracks. Now, before this works, you have to make sure that the track that you're switching to, and it doesn't matter whether you're going up one track or down one track, you just need to make sure that the track either side of this track that you're launching the sample from is a different program, or indeed a different track type. So on track 2 I've got a version of Tube Synth, and on track 1 I've got our drum program with this Bob James Mardi Gras sample playing. So I'm going to launch that sample and then I'm going to switch tracks, but I'm going to keep my finger held on the pad until I've switched up to track 2. And now our Bob James loop is infinitely looping. That's not going to fade away. We can jump to any of the other modes. We can go all through the pad banks, 16 level, track mute, pad mute, next sequence, song mode, channel mixer, pad mixer. I've tried all these different modes and our Bob James loop is still playing. I've gone back to the track. I can go back to the program editor, muck about with the filter. Let's go back to screen control. Okay, and it just will continue playing forever until you stop it. Okay, so let's now go up to track 2 and I'm going to trigger back Tube Synth and do the same. And I'm going to go up to track 3 where I've got a second instance of Tube Synth, because we obviously need a different program. Or I could just go back to track 1. In fact, I'm going to do that. And there you go. Now Tube Synth is droning. Let's go back to the pad mixer and just turn up this Bob James sample. Now let's go up to track 3 where I've got the second version of Tube Synth. Let's go up to a higher octave. I'm just going to turn this down actually because it's going to be quite loud. And I'm going to go back down to track 2. And now that's droning. Let's go back down to track 1 and I've got another looped sample on pad 2. And that's droning also, as well as our 2 versions of Tube Synth. So this is groundbreaking, guys, in my opinion. This is what I've wanted in the MPC from day one. Now, there is a kind of correct way that you could potentially do this. I've not tested it, but it does work with MIDI synths that you've got connected to the MPC. And that's to send a MIDI CC message number 64, which is sustain. And it works in the same way as if you had a foot pedal and you just press your foot pedal as soon as you've triggered the note, and it will infinitely sustain that MIDI device's note. I don't see why that wouldn't work if you sent a MIDI CC64 message to the MPC, but I haven't tested it and I've no idea whether this actually will override it. But you don't need to do that because Uncle Tubedigga has found you a workaround. I've not tested every possible scenario, so there might be some instance within the system where it gets cut off, but as you've seen, I've done quite a lot of things and those drones have continued to play. Please stay tuned for forthcoming videos. I hope to be covering the Akai Force in the next few weeks or next month or so. And of course, I'll be covering any forthcoming MPC updates. Please hit the bell notification symbol, which is on the right hand side just underneath my logo on my channel's homepage. That will notify you of any forthcoming videos coming up on my channel. I'll see you on the next one, guys. This is Tubedigga, and I'm out.